North Attleboro Community Television, North TV presents the MIAA High School Football Playoffs. Tonight from Bridgewater-Raynham High School, it's a Division 3A semifinal matchup. The Bourne Canalmen take on the Bishop Feehan Shamrocks. Welcome everyone, Peter Gay along with Steve Houle and Josh Perry. We will be calling the action for you tonight as the Shamrocks try to advance to the Division 3A Super Bowl game this coming Saturday. Paul Healy will be joining us a little bit later on as our sideline reporter. Steve, you win the league championship. You automatically qualify for the MIAA playoffs. Both of these teams working since August on getting here tonight. It's all or nothing.
The opportunity, and again, you talk about captain's practice and preparing in the weight room, running those extra sprints. It pays off. And you get a night like tonight. It's just a beautiful night for football. You got a team from the Cape against a team a little bit more inland, not familiar with each other, and these teams haven't met in a long time. But this is what you want. You want the opportunity to represent and get to the next level of the state tournament.
Absolutely. Get to that championship game. Josh Perry, Bishop Feehan Shamrocks, you've seen a couple of times. Bourne Canalmen. Interesting games, these two teams.
Yeah, they haven't met since 2004, and they met in these playoffs. They don't know too much about each other. Bishop Feehan, the strength of their team is their defense. I think they've given up something like 29 points in this 7-game win streak that got them into the playoffs, including dominating the EAC to a tune of 134-7, which is phenomenal. Bourne 11-0. They dominated the SCC this year. I think both of these teams, there's question marks, though, about how good they really are, because both of them in their conferences, they were a little bit weak this year. The opposition really wasn't that great. So I think tonight this is a chance for both teams to really make a statement and prove how good they are this year.
Yeah, I'll have more of the specific numbers that Josh was talking about. Feehan started out the season at 0-4, won 7 straight to get here this evening. Their non-league schedule, they struggled. Bourne, they're 11-0, but if you take a look at their non-league schedule, the point differential wasn't as strong as it was in the South Coast Conference. Either way, it will be interesting. They're on the artificial turf, a chance to go to the Super Bowl. We'll have all of the action on North TV right after this.
North TV Sports, recognized by the Alliance for Community Media as the best sports coverage in the entire northeastern United States.
For the millions living with COPD, breathing becomes a struggle. COPD is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. You may have heard of it as chronic bronchitis or emphysema. Over time, you feel like you're breathing through a straw. It's the 4th leading cause of death in the U.S., and it took my grandmother. If you're over 35 and have ever smoked, you could be at risk. Good news is, you can improve your symptoms. I'm Danica Patrick, and I drive for COPD. Join the movement at driveforcopd.com, take our screening questionnaire today, and talk to your doctor.
Welcome back, everyone. The Bishop Feehan Shamrocks will get the football to start out this game. They will be the home team this evening. You can see wearing their green home jerseys, gold pants, gold helmets. Bourne across the way with the purple pants, purple helmets, and white jerseys with purple and black trim. Thanksgiving Day must have been interesting. The Bourne-Wareham game. Wareham wears purple and white. Bourne wears purple and white. And you knew one of the teams wearing purple was going to win, and that team was Bourne, walloping rival Wareham 42-0. Sounds like an Attleboro, North Attleboro type score, Steve.
Well, I don't know if we'll go that far. This year's was a very good game, but in years past for sure.
So the Shamrocks ready to receive to start this one. The rights to this broadcast granted through the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association. The kick is a short one, will come down to the 25-yard line, taken there by the Shamrocks' Cameron Fry. Fry up across the 40 to the 43-yard line. They'll mark it at the 44, and that's where Feehan will take over, first down and 10.
Yeah, this is the person you want to get the ball with your Shamrock. Cameron Fry has been outstanding this season, and especially on the 7-game win streak after the 0-4 start. He's just been a fireball out there, running the ball, receiving the ball, good blocking up front. A big part of this Shamrock offense.
He really came on strong once they made him the #1 back. He was sharing time with Matt Allen at the start of the season, but Fry really took over the starting running back position all his own.
As you can see, 10-minute quarters here in the semifinals and in the Super Bowl, and they do that because there are so many games to be played. A pass interference penalty will be called, and the Shamrocks fortunate there because there's no way in the world the receiver would have been able to pull that one in.
It was Agnello. It was Michael Agnello out there on the sidelines, and I think you're right, Peter. There was no way he was going to catch that ball, and that was a real mistake. Number 48, the captain, Joe Epps, who we're probably going to mention quite a bit on offense today as he's their leading running back.
Yeah, he's a monster. He's 3 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion in that 42-0 victory over Wareham on Thanksgiving, but a big mistake early on.
Well, they marked that off as if this is the NFL and it's a spot foul, and it's not. It's a 15-yard penalty from the 44-yard line. So apparently the officiating crew a little bit tight coming into this one. Their chance to get into the playoffs. So the ball should be spotted at the 41-yard line. They had it marked where the flag was thrown. The men in stripes watching too many games on Sunday.
But you look at where the end result is, actually where the penalty is, it was about 15 yards or 17 yards downfield. So it's in the vicinity of where the officials were, however they hadn't marked it off.
I thought the better penalty would have been illegal contact there because there's no way in the world that pass could be caught. Once again, out of an I formation. Fumble! It appears as though Bourne has recovered. They have at the 41-yard line. Bad exchange. Murphy never came up with the football. Tommy Davis on the fumble recovery for the Bourne Canalmen. So the first mistake is by Bishop Feehan.
Yeah, the ball just never got out. Murphy never got his hands on it, turned around, didn't have the ball with him, and Tommy Davis all over that. Great field position and open up for Bourne.
And those are the kind of things that Feehan has taken out of their game offensively over the 7-game win streak. They were making a lot of mistakes early in the season, and they seem to have fixed a lot of those problems, but not a good start here tonight.
Jason Moriarty has thrown 10 touchdown passes, matches his uniform number. Wing T set. Handoff up the middle to the 49-yard line. Let's call it a pickup of 7 on the play, a 2nd down and 3 coming up on the carry for the Canalmen, Marquise Rhodes.
Yeah, Rhodes, a big back. Couple big backs there for the Canalmen. We mentioned Joe Epps, who's got a size at 5'11", 172, and Marquise, now you look at 180, 6 foot. I mean, a couple of big backs, and Moriarty, who's capable of throwing the ball with the 10 touchdown passes, as Pete alluded to. This is a very good offense.
First down, it will be a first down and more. It's going to be a touchdown. Joe Epps goes the distance for the touchdown, and in 2 plays, Bourne has a 6-0 lead. A 51-yard touchdown run for Joe Epps, who had 19 on the regular season.
Yeah. Coach Kurt Smith talking in midweek to the Sun Chronicle about how Bourne runs a similar set to North Attleboro. There's where you see it, the up the middle, and then they attack the edges with Epps, and you can see the explosive speed that he has going around the end, and nobody there from Feehan to catch him.
Yeah, good block downfield by number 58, Colin Lanoy. I mean, gets downfield. Epps was just really untouched into the end zone. Some great speed, and 5'11", 172. He's got some strength and didn't need to use it quite there, making any contact.
So the Canalmen go for 2. Option will result in a failed try. Jason Moriarty decided that he would be best keeping the ball, might have been better off pitching out to the side.
Yeah, Moriarty scraping the line of scrimmage, and he saw an opportunity, shot the field. Looked like it was Rhodes on the outside. He had some room outside, but good play, good defensive play by the Shamrock, stuffing that extra point. So a big halt to the extra point.
Joe Agnello getting in there for the tackle for Feehan, but take a look at this. Again, on the outside, a good block gets Agnello actually on the corner, and that allowed Epps to take it the distance. And not what we've seen from Feehan's defense this season. They've been outstanding. Even in the games that they lost at the start of the year, their defense was their strength of the team.
Yeah, you look at one of the stats. In conference, they only gave up 1 touchdown, and that was at the end of the game against Somerset Berkeley at the basically that wrapped up the EAC for this year. I mean, this team isn't used to giving up touchdowns. You look at early in the season when they lost to Attleboro by 22 and then North by 18, they were more apt to give up some scores, but
we were there for the Durfee game. They gave up that 1 big touchdown to Durfee, and then they dominated them for the rest of the game. So maybe this will just be a wake-up call for them.
Feehan, another mistake. They muff the return. Matt Allen will finally gather it in and then pull it down and return it to the 32-yard line. Josh, you mentioned it earlier. Feehan, first game of the season. The loss to Attleboro shot themselves in the foot. The 21-3 loss to North Attleboro shot themselves in the foot, and here they get to the end of the season, biggest game of the year, and 2 miscues within a matter of, 4 plays?
Yeah, this is a pretty senior-laden team, too. You expect that these type of mistakes that wouldn't be made, but obviously, Stevie mentioned that you worked all season to get to this game. It's a big game. Nerves are obviously going to play a part.
So first down and 10, I formation for the Shamrocks. Handoff will come to the tailback. That will be Cameron Fry. Fry with a little room will get back to the line of scrimmage. Let's call it no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 coming up.
yeah, and I guess number 56, Jack Schmidt, coming in there from his linebacker position and smothering the play. Nowhere to go for the Shamrocks. And that's one of the things the Shamrocks like to do. They like to get inside between the tackles because they're so solid up front. And we'll mention some of the names as this broadcast goes along. But then they have the speed and the durability to get outside and break away on those big runs.
2nd down for the Shamrocks in motion. Christian Cook. Back to pass is Murphy. Pass incomplete. 3rd down and 10.
Again, this is what we saw at the beginning of the season for Murphy, especially in that first game against Attleboro. He really struggled. He's been much better, much more efficient offensively as the season has worn on, but had Cook wide open with a blocker in front of him, that would have been a big play if he had completed it.
So the Shamrocks certainly out of sync here in the early going. Unfortunately, trail 7-0, and they are known for their defense and hoping, of course, that if they don't convert here, their defense can keep them in this game until they can sort things out. And Bourne with a little miscue. They had the wrong personnel on the field, so they will take a timeout. Our first of the game. Now, this game different than the regular season. Not only do they not play the 11-minute quarters, but instead of 5 timeouts per team per half, they only get 3 timeouts per team per half, which I like, Steve.
I like it too, but as you go along and play a 10 or 11 game seasons, depending on the schedule that you played and took a bye week throughout the season or not, you get used to using those timeouts. But now teaching time is over, and to your point, Josh, it's a lot of seniors on the Shamrock team, so you may not take the timeout you might have taken during the regular season because these kids have been in position, and Coach Smith and his team and his coaches have put these kids in position to make the plays. Now you just got to go out there and play and don't overthink.
So 3rd down and long for the Shamrocks. Murphy under pressure, will scramble, will have the first down, will get out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So Murphy, with no one open, under pressure, will run for the first down, the first for the Shamrocks.
This is a great block by James Corbacero, the fullback, picking up the blitz. Gave Murphy just that little bit of room to step forward, and then he was able to bounce it to the outside. Murphy really is a dual threat quarterback. You don't see him take off too often, but he does have the ability to get some yards on the ground.
Not a very big crowd this evening, but a vocal crowd certainly here on the Shamrock sideline. 1st down and 10, Feehan at the 48-yard line. Pitch will come to Fry. Fry with some blockers, turns the corner. Will get down to the 36-yard line where he steps out of bounds, but back-to-back first downs for Bishop Feehan.
Yeah, an outstanding. Cameron getting around the corner right there. Good job by Tom Flett, the tight end. Also downfield, a couple of blocks just out of the camera angle right there with with the wide receivers down the field, like using the field, getting the extra yard, just Cameron. A couple of nice plays from the Shamrocks. Momentum is moving forward.
Handheld cameraman Jeff Carr, not as brave as he was in his younger days. Those real-time jobs during the day, you know, you have to protect the income. First down and 10 for the Shamrocks. Ball at the 35-yard line, handoff up the middle to Corbacero. James Corbacero's first carry of the game will pick up 2 yards, second down and 8.
Peter, and you alluded to about being in big games and big situations, and we talked about in the pregame with Josh. This team knows diversity. They started off 0-4, so to bounce back and win 7 in a row, they know what it's like to be down early. So this isn't anything new to these guys. These Shamrocks team, Josh alluded to again, the experience. I mean, this is the type of changing drive that you need after kind of being back on your heels a little bit early on.
Second down and 8 for the Shamrocks. Fry on the carry, bounces off one tackle, kicks it to the outside, will be wrestled down at about the 28-yard line. So a third down and 2 coming up, certainly 4-down territory.
Fry, that's one of his strengths that you wouldn't expect at 5'9", 160. He's not not a big back, not an overpowering back, but he doesn't go down easy, and it's going to take a couple of guys to bring him down, and that's really been one of the outstanding aspects of his game, especially as the season has worn on.
Feehan during the regular season outscored opponents by an average of 20.5 points per game to, I am not miscalculation here for the Shamrocks, and I'm starting to doubt my own numbers here. In the EAC, they outscored opponents 33.5 to 1.8. Non-league, a big difference. They were outscored 13.7 to 13 points per game. This would be the equivalent of a non-league game. They also are much better at home than they were on the road this season, and this would be a road game as well. So,
But again, to your point about the non-league schedule that the Shamrocks play, I mean, you start off at Attleboro at home, then at North Attleboro in a very tough 21-3. That score is deceiving. Cardinal Spellman, Barrington, Situate. I mean, these are games that prepare you for the season in the EAC. And once you get in the EAC, again, they started rolling, only giving up 7 total points.
So third down and a short 2 for the Shamrocks. Once again, out of an I formation. They overload the left side of their offensive line. Fry, no room, tried to kick it outside and will lose a yard on the play. A fourth down and 3 coming up for Bishop Feehan. Drew Gerard, a huge play for Bourne.
Yeah, coming down from his left defensive end position, just scraped the line of scrimmage, saw Cameron and hopped on his back and took him down behind the line of scrimmage. 4th and 3, definitely 4-down territory.
That time the Feehan offensive line, which has been so good this season, got overwhelmed. Bourne sort of read the play well, and they brought everybody, and it just seemed like Feehan didn't have enough blockers in there.
It really looked like Murphy didn't get out of his stance from his quarterback under the center very quick too, and there was so much penetration up front by the Canalmen.
So 4th down and 3 for the Shamrocks. Murphy looking to pass, has a man open, pass is complete, and the Shamrocks pick up a much-needed first down. Christian Cook, nice little pattern, nice job by Murphy delivering the football.
Yeah, nice fake and nice pickup. I think it was in the backfield. I think it was Cameron again. See Christian Cook right in front of the camera doing a great job securing the ball and picking up an extra yards for that first down. Nice call, an aggressive call by the Shamrocks.
Cook has been really one of their better possession receivers as the season goes on. He's not somebody you're going to see down the field too often, but he's good in these short yardage plays of just picking up the first down.
So the Shamrocks keep the drive going. Play action. Murphy rolling to his left, looking into the end zone, will throw it off of his back foot and will throw it away. And there was a receiver in the area because he was really not out of the pocket.
He was looking for Cook down the field. You see 18 wide left, and you get the play action, which you have to honor if you're the Canalmen. Looking downfield, plenty of time, and Murphy trying to create some more time, but does the smart thing. Get rid of the ball. You're outside the tackles. Throw it out of bounds. It has to cross the line of scrimmage. Well done by Murphy. Live for another down.
We've got to give credit to Bourne. That was great coverage downfield. They had a lot of time to have to cover those guys because the offensive line did a good job picking up the blitz.
Second down for the Shamrocks. Murphy pitches to Fry. Fry, a nice little cut. Will get down inside the 20, close to the 15-yard line. So a 3rd down and 3 coming up for Bishop Feehan with 4:50 left in the first quarter.
Steve, we always talk about the balance on offense, and so far here in the first couple of possessions for Feehan, we've seen them show a lot of different looks to Bourne. It's really hard to read what they're going to do on each play.
And they've executed too. You know, when they come back and they've made one, they've missed one, but you know, it's stuff. They're changing formations a little bit. They're creating some space on the outside for Cameron. Good job up front by the front 5.
And Feehan will take a timeout as they had the wrong personnel on the field. Fry was racing off the field at the last second. Now, why would that not be an illegal substitution?
You know, they called it. The official was looking at it. I thought they were going to call the illegal substitution right away, but the official was watching Fry rolling off the field, and the coaching staff was signaling the timeout, and the timeout was awarded. So maybe a penalty that would have been called, or could have been called, on a big 3rd down. It would have been 3rd and 3, 3rd and 8. That's a huge difference. So some calls that have gone their way for the Shamrocks early in this game too.
So a 3rd down and 3 for the Shamrocks. 4:19 left. Certainly 4-down territory. Now we have seen Feehan throughout the season go for field goal, but I would think this would be the 4-down territory and not a field goal situation. Certainly a tough angle. But also, I think against this Bourne team, they know that they need 7 points, not 3. So 3rd down. Fry back in the game. The handoff will come to the fullback, Corbacero. And Bourne not expecting Corbacero to get the football. Lets him go right past them. A 1st down to the 11-yard line.
And you spread them out last play, and you look at this possession, 2 tight end front. You have Zachary Fortune in the game and also Thomas Flett, number 40 on the opposite side. Barth up front, Cuddy, who's a center. Martin, Giles, and McMahon doing a good job up front, and then just closing the gaps up front of the Shamrocks and just playing power football as we get closer inside the 20-yard line.
Cook in motion to the near side. Handoff to Corbacero again. Big hole. Corbacero! Touchdown!
Bishop Feehan ties this game up.
Well, the PA announcer saying the game is tied up. It certainly is at 6-6. Corbacero keeping his balance, using his left hand to get that extra yard and the 6 points.
Yeah, good job again up front. We mentioned that left side of the line. That was Zach Forget again from the tight end. As a kick extra point attempt goes up.
The PAT is good, and the Shamrocks with the 7-6 lead. 3:43 left here in the first quarter. And boy, guys, well, first of all, here's the touchdown.
Yeah, 12th place, 67 yards, and Corbacero finishes it off with just a great hustle effort at the end of that to jump into the end zone. Again, with the extra point, that's going to be a Bishop Feehan 7-6 up front. That's one of the things that Feehan brings game in and game out. Special team play. They're not going to go for 2.
Well, Corbacero really one of the emotional leaders for the Shamrock team. I've been on the sidelines for a couple of the games, and he's always the first one getting the team fired up. He's just that hard-nosed type of football player on both sides of the ball. And good to see him get in the end zone and give him the lead.
And guys, how big was that 3rd down scramble by Andy Murphy coming up with the 1st down? Because otherwise, you're giving the ball back to Bourne, and if they do anything, you're in an even bigger hole.
Yeah, that was 3rd and 10, and Murphy was able to get around the right side of the sideline, right along the canal sideline, and pick up that 1st down. Good blocking up front. That was huge. And then you look down at a couple of the plays. The 4th and 1 play, that was a great play by Christian Cook on the left sideline, secured the pass and secured the 1st down. Number of big plays for the Shamrocks.
Bourne with a little muff of their own on the return for the Canalmen is Marquise Rhodes. Rhodes a big return up to the 34-yard line much better than it looked.
Well, sometimes a muff on a kickoff like this, you're going to see Rhodes. Now, Rhodes is on his knees, but he didn't touch the ball, so he gets up and he gets possession of it. But if you're trying to get down the field and you lose your technique and you don't follow your lanes, this is exactly what can happen. And Rhodes does a good thing and picks up about 15 yards after picking up what was a fumble.
Once you
get through that first line of players racing at you, you seem to have a lot more space. Just take that extra time. I'm not saying that they should always fumble to kick off, but it seems to work.
Once again, a huge run by Joe Epps, finally driven out of bounds, and a touchdown-saving tackle by Thomas Flett.
Just too much speed for Epps around the corner. Nobody there for Feehan.
Yeah, last play they scored on the touchdown, Epps. It was a counter play with Epps coming across, a very similar look. But this time it was basically power right side of the ball and just Epps. You're going to see Flett. If that's the NFL, that's a horse collar, and there's an extra 15 yards. But in high school, you can get away with that, which is crazy to say. But a big play for the Canal man, moving the ball into their own territory.
And they seem to like to bring Epps to this near side. I think they're going to have to give Joe Agnello a little bit of help.
Got to widen out. Yeah, widen out and close it.
This time left side. Another huge run and driven out of bounds at the 1-yard line was Jake Ashstetter.
That's a total of 4 offensive plays by Bourne, and now they're about 1 play from being in the end zone. Little misdirection, little counter right there, and Ashstetter gets the ball and breaks 1 tackle. That's a foot race to the end zone.
It's another big running back, 6'2", 185 for Bourne.
Keep coming at you.
We sort of knew this was going to be their game plan coming into the game. We knew that they were a running team. It's just great blocking for them on the edges and taking advantage with the speed around the sideline.
Epps trying to get around the corner. This time the Shamrocks are waiting for him, even his speed.
Led by number 88.
Yeah, it
wasn't a factor.
And Josh, you alluded to one thing as you get going here. What you're going to want to do is you want to widen this out, and your defensive ends, your linebackers, you have to come up, and you really have to turn that play back in, because if you do, that's going to be the result. If you don't, it's going to be a touchdown.
That's Forget on the stop.
The PA announcer confirming that it was Zach Forget. So 2nd down and goal for the Canalmen. Ball just outside the 5-yard line. Quarterback will keep it himself. Moriarty will get down inside the 5, down to about the 2-yard line. So a big 3rd down coming up, and it's safe to say, guys, if Bourne does not kick for the PAT, then they're certainly not going to kick for the field goal.
And that wasn't Moriarty with the ball. He actually tossed it back to number 34 for the Canalman. Ashstetter. He was able. It was a very weird-looking play. It's like, I don't want the ball, and he threw it backwards.
It's a good thing we had that replay, because I had no idea who had the
Surely
ball.
looked like Moriarty had the ball, but he was the lead blocker.
3rd down, Moriarty pitch again. This time it will result in 6 points. Joe Epps' 2nd touchdown of this quarter, and Bourne on top by a score of 12-7.
And you can tell this Bourne team very comfortable with their offense. So instead of going out wide, where do they come back? They come back with a counter, and they kick out the inside. And what's Epps do? He just scoots right through the middle, practically untouched into the end zone.
You can see why he's being recruited so heavily by teams like UMass and UConn.
Yeah.
Just the good vision. He saw that the outside, that time Feehan jumped the outside. Forget jumped out to try to help Agnello. He saw that, just cuts right up inside and in between the tackle and the guard and gets the easy touchdown.
Canalmen go for 2. Same play will result in the 2-point conversion. Once again, Joe Epps, exact same play as the touchdown. It's 14-7.
I tell you, if it works once, run it again. You're going to see it's just like a little pooch pass. Like I haven't seen it all season, where you just the quarterback turns into the lead blocker. He went untouched into the end zone. Did Moriarty? Good news for the Canal man, bad news for the Shamrocks. Epps got in too. Here's another look at it. This little shovel pass up front.
And Feehan did
That's
a better
a touchdown.
job. Feehan did a better job of what we were talking about, widening out. You saw Agnello was out there along with, I believe it was Daniel Kroll, number 19, was out there as well. And Epps just took advantage, said, okay, you're going to cover the edge. I'll just cut it right back up the middle. And obviously, he only had a couple of yards to go to get into for the touchdown. But and just good vision and patience from the running back. And we talked earlier about this might be one of the best opponents that Feehan has faced, at least since those opening couple of games. And I think this is something that they're going to have to work into as this game goes along. That this isn't going to be as easy as some of the EAC games that they've played. Of course, the same could probably be said for Bourne, considering the way the South Coast Conference is as well.
Yeah, but you play the schedule that you're given, and you win, and you deserve this to be here. And this is an opportunity that we talked about in the pregame.
On the return for the Shamrocks, Cameron Fry right up the middle to the 45-yard line. Guys, I was right the first time when I was looking at the Feehan numbers for the year. In 11 games, they gave up 103 points. That's 0.9 per game. Bourne gave up a total of 12.6 points per game. Where are those defenses?
Well, I tell you, the Canalmen did a good job, at least it wasn't a big strike. It really made the Shamrock offense work down the field. A couple, the 3rd and 10 by Murphy, the big catch by Cook on the outside in that 4th down play. So hasn't been easy. If you're the Shamrocks, you really need to step up your defense because you can't go up and down with this team. It'll be a long afternoon.
Shamrocks trying to answer the touchdown. Pitch to Fry. Fry stops, cuts back. Will get back to the line of scrimmage, and to be honest with you, was fortunate to even get that far.
It looked like he had room to the outside and some blockers. I think he saw big number 60, who is not on our roster, but he saw the number 60 for Bourne on the outside, decided to try to cut it back in, but that seemed to work to the advantage of the Bourne defense. That's where they had most of their guys.
Second down and 10. And Murphy will be brought down. A big loss. On the stop for Bourne, Jack Schmidt, one of the tri-captains, along with Joe Epps and Drew Gerard. All 3 captains' names have been called here in the early going.
Yeah, very, very good trio of captains right there. Gerard and Epps, Gerard and Schmidt we've talked about more on the defensive side of the ball, but Epps has just been a force offensively, running 2 touchdowns, the extra point conversion.
So 3rd down and 11 for Feehan. Murphy back to pass, under pressure, throws a nice pass downfield, but just too much traffic. Was intended for Thomas Flett, number 40, and number 40, well, I thought it was number 40. It's number 10 for Bourne, Jason Moriarty, coming over. And Flett actually fortunate he did not touch that ball because he would have been hammered.
Yeah, Moriarty gave him just enough. He could have really kind of tagged him right there, but went for the ball. Good job by Moriarty. Good sportsmanship. Also wanted to play for the Canalmen was Pereira. Nick Pereira, 5'11", 165-pound junior. Good coverage downfield.
First punt of the game for the Shamrocks, and it's not a very good one. We'll take a Feehan bounce, not a very big one. A punt down to the 36-yard line, so a net punt of only 19 yards, and that's not good.
Not good when you're trying to change at least the field position and be a winner on that, because you had a good return on the kickoff, but was touched roughly around the 43-yard line, I believe, or just outside the 43-yard line. So more good field position for the Canalmen.
2 yards shorter than I originally thought, so a 17-yard punt.
Ooh, yeah, that hurts.
This possession, guys, is the game. If Bourne comes down and scores, the Shamrocks are in big trouble. First down and 10. Once again, tightly packed are the Canalmen. Passing on first down, some miscommunication between quarterback and receiver. And that will do it for first quarter play. The Shamrocks trailing the Bourne Canalmen by a score of 14-7. 10 minutes are in the books, 30 to go. Feehan waiting for their defense to arrive. A Town of Faith on North TV takes you inside the many churches that make up the spiritual fabric of North Attleboro. We'll take you on a tour of the building and grounds, as well as delve into the historical aspects that make each congregation so unique. We'll talk to the clergymen and women of each church to get a feel for not only the physical aspects of the church, but also the basic spiritual beliefs behind each religion. A Town of Faith, exclusively on North TV's Community Channel, Comcast Channel 15, and Verizon Channel 24.
You promised me the world. Is this what you had in mind?
Every choice we make has a consequence. Help EarthShare and its members restore balance to the world. Visit earthshare.org and see what you can do. EarthShare, one environment, one simple way to care for it.
So second down for the Bourne Canalmen. They lead 14-7, now going right to left on your television screen. Pitch will come near side. Feehan once again with the good pursuit. Jake Ashtetler nowhere to go that time. And a third down and 10 coming up for Bourne.
Great shot right here. Isaiah Douglas shooting up, the sophomore, and that's what you have to do. When you're getting beat outside, your cornerbacks have to come up and step up and be part of the run. Bourne has shown that they can't throw the ball, but they haven't thrown the ball. They haven't needed to, but that's where you need that support from the outside backs.
And the linebackers have to do a better job, too, of tracking down like LaBelle just did there for Feehan. Come out to the outside and give some help to the cornerbacks.
On third down and long, Bourne passing. And it's interesting, Bourne through the air on this series did not look very good, and you see that, and it's hard to believe that Jason Moriarty had 10 touchdown passes, 6 to Gerard, 6 to Nick Pereira, because they looked totally out of sorts.
Yeah, they totally did. And one of the things is, they were doing so good running the ball. I just want to get the ball to Joe Epps.
They almost
and
played
Rhodes.
right into Feehan's hands.
They gave Feehan an opportunity here where they really could have put him away. Make Feehan stop the run before you start throwing the ball.
And that's why it's so important for Feehan on first and second down to really get in there and force third and longs, because you can see that Bourne aren't as successful when they throw the ball.
So Feehan did what they needed to do, and that was stop Bourne on that possession. So Feehan will get the ball first down and 10. A well-rounded education is one that is not only academically oriented, but one that also includes physical, social, and emotional development. Interscholastic athletics provide the other half of education. The MIAA encourages you to support your local high school athletic teams throughout the school year. So first down and 10 for Bishop Feehan. Ball spotted at the 25-yard line. Handoff to the fullback, Corbacero, up the middle. Corbacero will pick up 4 yards on the carry, so a second down and 6 coming up for Bishop Feehan.
Yeah, Corbacero, he's the big moose up front there. He's going to be picking up those tough yards. That was Kyle Vos, 5'10", 240-pound lineman for the Canal Man, taking down the Shamrock runner.
One of the things that we're talking about coming into the game is that Bourne might not necessarily be as big up front as some of the teams we've seen, sort of like North Attleboro or some of the Hockomock League teams, but they're very quick, and you've seen that in the early going. They really get pressure right up the middle as quickly as possible.
On the carry for the Shamrocks, Cameron Fry has the first down.
Yeah, and this is what the Shamrocks have to do. Get the ball to Fry, get him to your game, the gamer who's been making the big plays for you all season long, and Fry picking up the first down. Move the chains and get some more confidence. Doesn't matter if it takes 10 or 12 drives. The first touchdown series was 12 plays, 67 yards. As long as they get in the end zone, and actually you want to use the clock too to keep what is a potent offense from Bourne off the field.
Hand off to Fry again. Fry bobbing and weaving, still on his feet, dives forward up to the 41-yard line. So a pickup of 5 for the Shamrocks, and a 2nd and 5 coming up.
It's a great second effort there by Fry, as it seemed like he was stopped after a gain of maybe 2 or 3 and able to spin off, gain a couple extra yards. And that really sets up their offense. If they can get 4, 5, 6 yards on first down, that really enables them to now spread things out a little bit, use some of the passing game. We haven't really seen them be able to go downfield yet to their tight ends, which they like to do, especially to Zach Forgett.
Shamrocks once again out of the eye. They overload the left side. Murphy, 3-step drop. Quick down and out. Incomplete, in and out of the hands of Christian Cook.
Yeah, that's one Christian Cook wants back. Murphy did a good job of setting his feet. He had the blitz on. Good job by the Shamrocks picking it up. The ball was right on the numbers. It looked like Cook was trying to make a move to get around the defender inside to possibly pick up that first down, but got to have the ball to make that move and pick up the first down.
And Kyle Voss coming straight up the middle for Bourne. And again, like you mentioned, Steve Feehan did a great job of picking up that blitz, giving Murphy the time to throw. And if you give Murphy the time, he's an accurate passer. He can make those. He can make those plays.
Very impressed with him against Durfee, and also he had some nice throws that we saw against Bishop Feehan, and against Attleboro and also North Attleboro.
Murphy hands off, and Matt Allen looking like, what do you call it, water bug, scooting back and forth.
Yeah, everyone's going, where'd the ball go? Well, it's in the hands of Matt Allen on the reverse right here. Cameron outside, good kick out block. I think it was number 76 for the Shamrocks right there. That was Giles, and before you know it, Matt Allen's picking up that first down in the middle of the field.
Usually you expect one back to be up the middle back. He's going to be the big bruiser, but really they've got 2 relatively little guys, and Allen, though, is a much more shifty runner.
Well, you mentioned Allen was a big part of the offense at the beginning, still ran the close to 300 yards in the season, found the end zone a number of times, so he's more than capable of carrying the load for the Shamrocks too.
Shamrocks starting to move the ball. Corbacero looked as though he had it, but it was Murphy following Corbacero through the hole, able to squeeze out 3 yards on the carry, a 2nd down and 7 as we approach the midway point of the first half.
He had Allen running to the outside. I thought they were going to run the option to the edge, but Murphy electing to take it right up the middle. And to his credit, though, got positive yards out of a play where it looked like they were a little confused as to what they were running.
2nd down, barely getting set before the start of that play was Allen, who takes the toss, makes a cut to the outside, another cut to the inside. Allen back to the outside. Oh my goodness, down to the 16-yard line.
You know, he was running for so long, I think the crowd actually started to get quiet because they thought he was down. No, Matt Allen was still running to the outside trying to find the cheese. He looked like a little mouse out there. Good job, great job by Murphy on the fake and the option, and plenty of room outside for Matt Allen. And watch at the end here, he's still juking people down the field, and just when you think he's down, he's trying to set up some blocks, picks up a few more yards.
That's a great job by Murphy, though, on that. He held that pitch just long enough, drew all of the linebackers to him, and gave Allen that seam to run through.
1st and 10, Bishop Feehan from the 17-yard line.
Here's another shot, guys. And look at this. Right, left, left again, left, up, stop, right.
Looks back at the defense. You don't get the opportunity to look back at the defense too often.
Did he looked like a mouse cornered?
It was more like a rundown.
Yeah.
It was more like a rundown play in baseball. You just go back and forth, back and forth.
So the Shamrocks showing some offensive firepower of their own. It's been, for the most part, Bourne with the long runs, but Matt Allen, consecutive carries, has Feehan in the red zone, looking to answer and tie up this game with 5:22 left here in the second quarter. One lone back, Corbacero. Corbacero takes the handoff. Corbacero driving forward, gets down to about the 13-yard line. Will be a pickup of 4 on the play. 2nd down and 6 coming up.
Corbacero so strong going up the middle, and you can see as soon as he gets the ball, he's got both hands wrapped around it.
It'll be second and 6.
Making sure that he's making sure that there's no way he's going to turn the ball over.
And Corbacero, I mean, he's your middle linebacker on defense too. He loves the contact, so you know he's not going to go down on the initial hit, and that's what you saw in that last shot. It was just the legs driving, staying low, picking up as many yards as he can.
Allen down to the 9-yard line.
Little swing pass by Matt Allen, and Murphy showing some good touch, coming in motion. Then what do? Get him the ball, let the receivers downfield. Nice catch by Matt Allen. Let the receivers down the field, try to make some blocks, but good closing ability by the Canal man before Allen could get too far down the field.
That's not an easy catch for a running back on that swing pass too. That was a great catch by Allen, especially being led into the 2 defenders like that.
3rd down and short for the Shamrocks. Certainly 4-down territory. Allen came in motion to the near side. The pass complete to the far side. Michael Agnello. I'll tell you guys, Allen that time looked like he was coming forward at the snap of the football.
Yeah, he kind of ran by Murphy short right there. A little bubble screen to the left, and Agnello gets the ball and picks up that 1st down. That was a nice job. It was a nice job by the Shamrocks. When they throw the ball, they're throwing it short and being very, very effective. But some of the long passes that they haven't completed have really set up their underneath passing to the flats. Has been, again, picking up 2 crucial 1st downs, one on the initial scoring drive for the Shamrocks.
Feehan, touchdown, 14-13, and it's Corbacero scoring for Feehan. And what an impressive drive, Matt Allen, the spark on that one.
Yeah, Matt Allen is showing the way, and what does Corbacero do? He knows what to do when he gets the ball. They catch Bourne in a blitz right there, trying to close down the middle and trying to close down just that play that they scored. Corbacero into the end zone on his feet.
The kick is good, and we are tied at 14-14.
This is what Corbacero is great at, though. You need this short yardage gain. You need 4 or 5 yards. He's the perfect guy to give the ball to because, as you mentioned, Steve, he's not a guy that goes down easy. Just keep driving his feet, and he's going to drive defenders back a couple of yards on every carry. We talk so much about the Feehan defense coming into this game, when the offense has been impressive lately as well. In the game against Durfee, they scored on their first 5 possessions. They scored on their first 6 possessions against Somerset Berkeley. And the offense has definitely developed as the season's gone along and has been able to put up some points.
And they're putting up points right now on the Canal team that they're very good. They're a very good team, obviously. 11-0, 7-0 in conference, and a team that just shut out Wareham on Thanksgiving 42-0 in a game that's a rival game. So you know teams are up for that game regardless of what the records are coming in. I mean, so to put 14 points up here after being down, it's kind of what happened during the season, as we alluded to in the first quarter. They've been down. They know how to play when they're down, and they're getting better, and they're building confidence too. So there's plenty of football left here.
And they took quite a bit of time off the clock as well, and kept that Bourne offense over on the sidelines, which is going to be huge as well.
Matt Allen drives this one down to the 1-yard line. Will be taken there. On the return for the Canalmen is Marquise Rhodes, and Feehan will bring Rhodes down at the 12-yard line, and it was Matt Allen again.
And one of the Feehan players stood up with the ball, Daniel Kroll, but that was very close. I think his knee maybe was down, but
great shot of that. You see the ball screen up, but they already had ruled him down, Josh. But that would have been just what the Shamrocks need. Got to get another look at it right here. Is the ball out?
I think it was, because I think his knee was actually on the back of the defender.
I agree. I agree. I don't think his knee or his elbows were definitely not down. So
easy for us to say on seeing our 3rd replay of it.
Yeah, but we got the equipment, so let's use it.
That's a good point. Handoff will come right side. Joe Epps will be driven down after a gain of about 5 on the play. Boy, he's just so dangerous.
He really is. You see him shoot at the outside. It's always in motion or some kind of waggle into getting outside. And that's a good job. I'm not sure what number that was for the Shamrocks. I don't know if that was Chapman or Murphy. To get a number, but that was a nice job by the defense of turning Epps back in and not allowing Gip to the corner.
I think it might have been Agnello, Joe Agnello. He's been stationed out on that side of the defense most of the game. And
illegal procedure against Bourne, who now is struggling offensively. And really, they haven't had the ball that many plays offensively. They've just been a series of long runs.
I mean, it's got to be hovering around 10 total plays in the whole game, but they've been very effective plays.
And time of possession is certainly on Feehan's favor, but Bourne, one of those offenses, it looks like they don't really need to have the ball that long because Epps can break one on any play.
Epps in motion to the far side. Handoff will come left side instead, and with some room is Ashstetter all the way up to the 30, make that the 28-yard line, will be a first down and 10.
Yeah, and Ashstetter did a good job of setting up the block. It looked like Isaiah Douglas was going to turn him in, but Connor Schmidt, number 77, the brother of the other Schmidt, the tri-captain, is able to turn that play outside. That's a nice job by the running back of Bourne, Ashstetter, to get outside.
You know, you talk about that in basketball all the time, how you have to set up the pick. You can't just stand there and hope that they'll run into you. He did a great job. That little shoulder fake, like he was going to come inside, and that brought all the Feehan defenders in and gave him the corner.
First down and 10, passing, this time with a completion, is Jason Moriarty hitting tri-captain Drew Gerard for a big play up to the 40-yard line, and with 1:45 left in the half.
Yeah, Moriarty looked more comfortable throwing the ball on the run. Good solid throw. Gerard showing some good hands for the big guy. Gerard comes into the game 6'3", 220. See him playing defensive end on the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball, but showing some good hands, keeping the chain moving.
So first down and 10, time running out here in the first half. Pass, incomplete. Very high pass, almost gathered in by Ashstetter. Jason Moriarty fortunate that it did not go off of Astetter's hands into the hands of Isaiah Douglas.
The 6'2" receiver against the 5'8" cornerback, but Douglas has done a great job in coverage for the Shamrocks and early in this game.
Yeah, Douglas following his brother's footstep. Garfield Douglas, who plays at Salve Regina, doing a good job on the outside. The sophomore getting the opportunity and in on the action.
The draw up the middle will result in a pickup of 9, so third down coming up. On the carry that time was Marquise Rhodes. So a second, make that a third down and 1 coming up.
Yeah, I think Coach Smith really looking for this defense really to kind of stop the run, force the pass a little bit, and try to get a halftime with a tie right here. Again, you don't have those extra timeouts, Peter.
So Bourne with the quick play picks up the first down to the 47-yard line, first down and 10. They stop the clock to reset the chains. Now with 1:05 remaining. Yeah, those timeouts.
Those timeouts are huge. I mean, this is where you have 5 timeouts and a half. You can waste 3 or 4 right here, but that clock's moving quick.
Well, there's just such a better flow to the game. Pass, going for the home run, just out of the reach of speedy wide receiver Nick Pereira. Jason Moriarty putting a little too much air under that ball, and a second down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, I love when a quarterback does this, Moriarty. Get the ball up and out and let your receiver go make the play. Looked like Pereira, would have been a heck of a catch if he would have dove. Maybe he comes up with it. The ball wasn't going to drop into his hands, but I like the way that Moriarty get the ball out, get it where only your offensive play can make the catch, and just out of the reach of Pereira.
It really wasn't that bad of coverage by Douglas. He
was
Douglas
was
right with him
there.
Step for step. That was the only place Moriarty could put it in order to make sure that his guy was going to get it.
Second down, little misdirection, but the Shamrocks are there. Big defensive play Mitchell Martin at 6'4", 260, just swallowed up the Canalman quarterback, Jason Moriarty.
Yeah, they were setting up a screen on the right side. You see the lineman scraping, but Martin wanted nothing to do with it. Coming up, making the big hit on Moriarty. That play was squashed right from the beginning. You're going to get another great look. Watch the line of scrimmage over here, kind of shooting left. They're going to throw a shot over here, number 34, but Martin jumps up, contains the quarterback. Big sack.
Martin's one of the players that has stepped up as the season went on. Feehan lost one of their defensive linemen, Michael Reyna, to a neck injury a couple of weeks ago, and Martin was one of the players that really has stepped in to fill his shoes, and he's done a great job. The junior lineman has been able to make some big plays.
Yeah, 6'4", 260. I mean, he's a big kid out there playing at a very high level when the Shamrocks need him to.
When is the best time to talk to your child about athletics and the use of mood-altering chemicals? Try talking together when there is no pressing problem. Let your child know what your expectations are and where the boundaries are in your family. And above all, keep talking together. This message furnished by the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association. Steve, you'll be at that age soon.
Well done, because that's a tough thing to say at the end there. That Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association. That's tough to put together. You've been doing it for a number of years, Peter. You did a good job with it.
That's why I just say MIAA normally. Third down and a bundle. We'll call it 15. Moriarty rolling left, throwing over the middle. Incomplete. And Bourne now will be forced to punt the football away, and Feehan will have the ball, well, with very little time left, 23 seconds. I think at this point the Shamrocks will take the ball and settle for the tie going into the locker room.
Yeah, you either go for the block here on the punt or you go for the return, and that means you keep your guys up, you keep one guy back. But I think why not go for the block? But don't forget, you got to cover. This is a perfect opportunity for a fake punt here too, because this Canal defense hasn't just given up the big play, so they could be thinking a trick play right here.
Feehan, nobody deep.
And Feehan will take the timeout.
Yeah, they were thinking, let's go. They're going to go for it, so they didn't even get in position.
Got to give credit to the Feehan defense on that last play, though. They could have easily allowed somebody to get in behind them. They really didn't. The safety stayed back, covered the middle of the field, didn't allow a receiver to go deep, because really that's what Bourne is trying to do with the passing game. They're trying to bring everybody forward to stop the run and then hit them over the top after a play action. That's really where their passing game has been so successful with the 10 touchdowns.
See the rain come down onto the field here, Bridgewater Raynham High School. A great facility to host an event like this, but now the rain has really started to pick up. We had heard rain in the forecast throughout the weekend and into the early part of this week, but now we're seeing the direct result. So it's going to get maybe potentially a sloppy second half with a tie football game.
No mud on this field, but it does get really slick when it gets rain, when the rain starts coming down, especially like this.
Good news is it's not that cold.
And we're in a booth.
That's true, too.
That's the best news of all. Short punt by Jake Ashstetter. The Shamrocks will let it go. The clock will run. The ball still going. Finally out of bounds with 10.2 seconds remaining. So Feehan most likely will just line up in victory formation, take a knee, and head into the locker room. Tied at 14-14, which the way the Bourne offense started out, they'll take that. Now Bourne won the toss before the start of the game. They opted to defer their option until the second half, and in doing so, will get the ball to start out second half play. Certainly an entertaining first 20 minutes of football. We still have 20 to go. But first, our halftime report. We'll be back with that. The Canalmen, the Shamrocks, deadlocked at 14 apiece.
A Town of Faith on North TV takes you inside the many churches that make up the spiritual fabric of North Attleboro. We'll take you on a tour of the building and grounds, as well as delve into the historical aspects that make each congregation so unique. We'll talk to the clergymen and women of each church to get a feel for not only the physical aspects of the church, but also the basic spiritual beliefs behind each religion. A Town of Faith, exclusively on North TV's Community Channel, Comcast Channel 15, and Verizon Channel 24.
Help protect nature's beauty and the environment by recycling your old rechargeable batteries. Call 8772-RECYCLE or visit us online at calltorecycle.org.
North TV Sports, recognized by the Alliance for Community Media as the best sports coverage in the entire northeastern United States.
14-14 our score. Let's take a look, in case you're just joining us, how we got to that score. Bourne on their second offensive play from scrimmage. Joe Epps, the senior tri-captain, going the distance, waltzing into the end zone. The two-point try was no good. It was 6-0. Bourne. Feehan would answer. A nice run by a fullback and senior James Corbacero. Feehan, the PAT, made it 7-6. Bourne would score. Epps again, up the middle this time. The two-point try would be good, and here it is. Looks like the same play, just from a different angle, but it's a different play. 14-7, Bourne led. Corbacero scored the first touchdown. He'll score the second touchdown as well. The PAT made it 14-14, and that's where we are 20 minutes into this one. Gentlemen, an interesting half of football.
Yeah, very, very entertaining first half. I mean, we saw what is potentially what the best of Bourne with Joe Epps. I mean, in a solid defense with Gerard and the Schmidt brothers up front. But Bishop Feehan, give them a lot of credit. They did a great job of really sustaining the initial blow, coming back and had two sustained drives that kept that Bourne offense off the field.
It's obviously a very different style offensively for both teams. Feehan tends to move the ball slowly up the field. They don't have the big plays that Bourne has shown in this first half. But you got to give credit to this Feehan defense. They started off a little poorly, but they really balanced it out, and they have started to figure out Bourne a little bit as the half wore on.
14-14 our score. The rain is really coming down nice and dry here in the press box. We'll be back with the third quarter after this.
Do you have an event, meeting, or group? Do you want it shown on North TV's community bulletin board? Here's how you can do it. Mail your announcement to the address shown. Email it to mmiller@northtv.net. Or drop it off at our North TV studio. Please include who, what, where, when, why, and of course, how to get more info. Please have your announcement to us within 21 days prior to the event.
The videos we receive from North TV are a great addition to the sunchronicle.com. We can provide stories and photos, but the videos sort of bring the news to life. They really add a whole nother dimension and really make best use of the different things that you can do on a news website. So we really appreciate them from North TV, and we're hoping that the readers will click on to them.
We are ready to go. Start of second half play. The rain has let up just a little, but all of a sudden this press box is very crowded. Actually, it hasn't let up as much as I thought, as you can see from our main camera. Ball at the 21-yard line, ball up to the 32-yard line. On the return for Bourne was Tyler Ruggiero. And Bourne will start out first down and 10. This is just bizarre weather, gentlemen. This late in November, temperatures in the 60s. I would not be shocked if we don't have a thunderstorm.
Yeah, well, that's what you expect with this type of weather, for sure. You know, Josh and I were talking during halftime. What advantage in the second half with these inclement weather with the rain? Is it going to be the Shamrocks? Can they move the ball enough and hold on to the ball? They had that one fumble early on the handoff with Murphy. Or is it going to be really the big backs of Bourne that can really battle and get some tough yards?
I'm upset with J.C. Monahan, Channel 5. She said the heavy stuff wouldn't get here till about 10 o'clock. She went to the Bill Murray School of Broadcasting or Weather Forecasting. On the carry, Marquise Rhodes. A loss of 2 on the play. And Feehan's defense arrived late, but they are here.
That's Mitchell Martin, again, stepping up, making a big play for the Shamrocks. Mentioned him in the first half. He's really come on strong as the season's gone along. And big kid, and he just got through the seam, be able to make the tackle.
Second down. Pitch will come left side. I believe that's Jake Ashstetter, number 34. Yes, indeed it is. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage +1. So a 3rd down and 9 coming up for Bourne.
Yeah, that pitch was outside, but Ashstetter just quickly flat. It was Tom Flatt in there originally, number 40. Then a whole host of Shamrocks taking him down. Big 3rd down play.
This is where Feehan want to keep him again. It's 3rd and long.
3rd down for the Canalmen. Handoff, near side. Shamrocks have it read perfectly. Epps breaks 1 tackle. Cannot break a second. Will be driven out of bounds at the 41-yard line, well shy of the 1st down. Actually, they're saying he was out at the 37-yard line. Joseph Agnello did not make the tackle right there, but he slowed Epps down enough for the rest of the defense to come over and assist.
Yeah, Agnello, and also give credit to Isaiah Douglas in the first half. He made the Shamrocks are widening out their defense a little bit, taking their corners. You know, the responsibility is pass first for the corners, but they're forcing these players back in, and Epps had nowhere to go. He really wanted to get that corner because he's had so much success here in this game with the 2 touchdowns and the 2-point conversion. Good defensive play.
Punt by Ashstetter will come down, take a huge Bourne bounce, and will go out of bounds at the 10-yard line. So in this type of weather, field position is often key. And here in the early going of the 3rd quarter, Bourne certainly with the advantage at this point.
I'm surprised again, Feehan, nobody back deep to return that punt. I'm not sure if they're expecting Bourne to try to run a fake or just go for it on 4th down, but or if they're just afraid maybe somebody back there will just drop it in this weather. I'm not sure.
Well, you know, Astor, that punt was fantastic because it was basically towards the right corner. Even if there was a Shamrock back on that one, he really would have had nowhere to go, and he probably couldn't have saved much because it would have been so much pressure down the field because good coverage down the field by the Canalmen.
1st down and 10 for the Shamrocks. 8:27, as you can see, left in the 3rd quarter. On the keeper will be Murphy. Murphy will get up to the 10-yard line. We'll squeeze maybe a yard out of that play. A 2nd down and 9 coming up.
A lot of movement before the snap, and it ended up being just a quick keeper up the middle.
Yeah, get the fake handoff there to the up back and Corbacero, and Murphy had some room. It was just quickly closed down.
You wonder if the offenses will get a little conservative here in the second half, considering the weather. Probably not going to change Bourne's approach at all. But
both teams have run the ball well, and the Shamrocks have thrown underneath, and you can still throw the ball underneath in this weather. Or deep.
Especially if he's wide open.
Matt Allen, the water bug. Down to the 40, still on his feet to the 37-yard line. You were saying, Steve?
I was saying how you want to get the ball deep to Matt Allen, and that's just what the Shamrocks did. You're going to get a great look at this right here from the side view, and wide open is Matt Allen just running over the corner. I mean, no one within 5 or 10 yards, fakes out Moriarty, and then like Pete alluded to, the water bug trying to chase the cheese down the field. You can put in other analogies, but either way, it's positive yards for the Shamrocks.
Water bugs don't chase cheese.
They do when they're mixed in with a hamster or a mouse. I mean, there's a bunch of things going on back there, Pete.
Oh my goodness. You had a deprived childhood, didn't you? 1st down. Corbacero up the middle will pick up 4 yards. 2nd down and 6. I should know. I was a neighbor of yours when you were a young child. Oh, what a fiery kid he was.
Still am, Peter. Keep it up. Boy, that was a huge play, though, to get out of territory, move the ball down the field. How big has Matt Allen been?
It's funny because he's one of the smallest players on the field at 145 pounds. Murphy will keep it himself. Runs into a trio of Bourne Canalmen and drags them down to the 12-yard line.
This Shamrock team has the Canalmen completely off the balance defensively. They're thinking things through, and they can't think and play defense. You just have to attack the football, and the Canalmen are not doing that right now. Good coverage down the field, so what's Murphy do? He tucks it under, and he's not going out of bounds. He's picking up the extra space down the road. Outstanding decision by Murphy. We've seen quite a few tonight.
He's not a natural running quarterback, but he's one of those guys, though, that can pick up the yards. And just a smart play. You look downfield, everybody's covered, sees a huge seam, just run through it, pick up what you can. In this case, it ends up being a first down.
First down and 10. Pitch comes near side. Nice little job by Cameron Fry avoiding one tackle, but just too many white jerseys there. No gain on the play. Second down and 10 coming up.
He got a little unlucky. Corbacero made a good block to push the defender away, but then as he rolled backwards, rolled into Fry's path, and the Shamrocks a little unlucky because they probably would have gotten a few more yards out of that play.
I've often wondered, this new artificial turf with all the black pebbles that help brace you when you're falling, do they stick to the football when they're wet? Handoff will come up the middle. Corbacero fighting for yardage. Will pick up maybe a yard on the play. Actually, let's call it a third down and 8.
It's Drew Gerard again there for Bourne. It's a pretty big physical matchup there. 6'3", 220 for Gerard.
This is a big plays up front, both teams. We talk a few times defensively, but it's been Mitchell Martin up front defensively, 6'4", 260. Ed Giles, 6'4", 225 of the Shamrocks. Tim Mackman, 6'5", 250.
Who was that, Steve?
The Mac Attack.
Third down for the Shamrocks. Allen was moving forward that time. I can't believe there's not a penalty marker. Murphy has the first down. I thought I was watching the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, there's no question Allen had taken a couple of steps forward.
Look at Matt Allen. He's running forward at the snap.
Wow, they got away. That was a big missed call by the officials.
Well, I can't believe the Bourne Canalmen bench is not questioning that.
It wasn't even a reaction.
4th and 1, Peter.
So a 4th down and 1 for the Shamrocks. Now, do you kick the field goal or do you go for it? Josh is already shaking his head. You got
to go for it. You get it down this deep, you got to try to get in there and get a score. You know that Bourne are dangerous, that they can get the big play and get a touchdown. They're not kicking field goals. They're going to go for 6 points every time, and it sort of, I think, affects your type of thinking offensively too, that you need to get touchdowns as well.
I totally agree. Being that the short yardage, Carbacero's been so big and physical up front, or you can spread them out and get Murphy an open space to pick up the first down. But I do believe you have to go for it. 3 points isn't going to be the difference in this, because I think Bourne's got at least 1 or 2 more touchdowns in them.
It was 4th and long. I think that maybe it would be a much more difficult decision for Coach Smith, but 4th and 1, you've been able to get that short yardage with Corbacero every time.
4th down and 1. Shamrocks line up 3 backs behind the quarterback. Now line up in a power I formation. Handoff. Corbacero did not make it. Penetration on the part of the Bourne Canalmen results in a loss on the play. Big number 56, Jack Schmidt. Joe Epps, the first one through.
Yeah, Joe Epps just blew this play up. You're going to see this the power eye left right there. Look at Epps scraping right down the side. I mean, what a great look at that. And Corbacero really had nowhere to go. Epps just blew that play up.
That's why you go for the field goal.
Oh, I still agree with that. And, they went to his strength. They've been successful. Joe Epps just made the play.
Well, you know why you go for it there. Because now Bourne has 95 yards to go.
Yeah, again, like Josh alluded, if it's 2 or 3 yards, you kick the field goal, because Matt Allen's definitely capable of making a 20-something yard field goal.
So Bourne now deep in their own territory. Not sure if that was a design play or a broken play, but Jason Moriarty will bring it up to about the 7-yard line. So a 2nd down and 8 coming up. And Feehan's defense with a chance possibly to win the game here.
Yeah, if it wasn't a design play, that's exactly what you're supposed to do, though, is follow where the ball was supposed to go. Moriarty making something out of nothing with a 2-yard gain.
It seems like Feehan's defense has been much more aggressive in these 2 series to start the second half than they were in the first. In the first, as Epps was coming around to the outside, everybody was waiting, sitting back, waiting for him to make the decision where he was going. Now players are coming forward and trying to attack the ball a little bit more.
2nd down and long. Handoff up the middle. Fighting for yardage is Marquise Rhodes. Rhodes will get up to the 10-yard line. So a 3rd down and let's call it 6 coming up for the Canalmen.
Give Rhodes credit. This is a pretty good run. He gets hit in the backfield, still able to turn upfield and get a couple of yards.
And that yellow line you saw, that's not the NFL yellow line. Get across that, pick up the 1st down.
I thought North TV invested all kinds of money into this new modern software.
Next year,
yes. 3rd down and long. Pitch. Nope. Little flea flicker. Pass downfield. Incomplete, excuse me. I was all confused on that play. First of all, I'm looking through the blurry window. And then that pass dead into the wind, just knocked down. You can't see it on the screen, but there is a big wind that Jake Ashstetter was throwing into. Incomplete. That was more like a punt coming down.
Yeah, and the ball could have been caught, but Agnello, looked like Michael Agnello, was able to knock that ball away just as the Bourne play was trying to secure it.
Now Ashstetter will be punting into that same wind. When you saw the flag did not look too bad, but trust me, it is there, as you can see right here. This punt, Steve saying, was partially blocked and will roll down to about the 43-yard line. Feehan starts out with excellent field position. You thought that was blocked, Steve?
The official actually made it. Watching the back of the white hat, couple penetration by a couple of the Shamrocks. It was Martin was one of them.
Forget the other.
Forget.
I think it was Forget who actually
got the official made the gesture that there was maybe contact to the punter, but no penalty because the ball was touched.
And this actually works for Feehan. They went for that touchdown. They didn't get it, but their defense stepped up, made the play, and now that field position that we were talking about earlier is firmly in the Shamrocks' hands here as they get the ball to start inside Bourne territory.
Yeah, Peter, you alluded to after the first quarter, is the defense going to show up, and boy, have they ever.
2:27 this 3rd quarter has flown by. Handoff up the middle. Corbacero inside the 40 down to about the 38-yard line. So a pickup of 4 on the play and a 2nd down and 6 coming up.
Steve, you see how well they are able to spread them out and then go up the middle. You feel like on that 4th down play, it was almost too bunched up. Everybody knew exactly where they were going, and it gave them the opportunity, Epps, to come in from the outside and make the play. Yeah. Where here you spread them out. Now there's some gaps for Corbacero to try to find.
And when they've run the power, they haven't run a power I, but they've had the 2 tight ends in. I mean, to your point, they closed the line up, and Epps just made a fantastic play on that one stop.
Allen in motion. Quarterback will keep it himself. Murphy on the sneak will get down to the 35-yard line. Takes a beating. Will be 2 yards shy of the 1st down, 3rd down and 2.
Not only the change of possession, the change of the quarters, but the wind. I mean, the wind could become a factor in here as we get into the 4th quarter.
And if Ian's not careful here, they're going to have to take a timeout before getting this play off. A long time getting that play into the huddle.
Can't really waste the timeouts, though. With the 3, they've already used 1.
Feehan showing some confusion now. Will line up I formation, 3rd and 2. Handoff will come to the tailback in the I. That's Cameron Fry. And once again, the Canal men were waiting. A loss of 2 on the play. Let's call it a 4th down and 4.
Yeah, Kyle Vos, number 50, just grabbed Cameron and threw him right down behind the line of scrimmage. That play had no chance. Too much penetration by the Canal men up front.
You mentioned it earlier, Steve. Sometimes it takes a little while to get the handoff. It seems like they're slow from under center to getting the ball back to the running back. And gives this Bourne defensive line, which again, the couple of big guys on there, but mostly it's speed that they're using to get the penetration.
You almost wonder if Feehan's going to try to draw Bourne off sides here. Feehan moved, Allen moved early. And boy, that was a gutsy call on 4th down because you've got a chance once again to pin Bourne deep. That pass was incomplete, which I realized the whistle had blown, but still, you give the ball to Bourne at almost the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I know. I thought it might have been even a quick kick right there on the 4th down with no one deep for the Canal men, but
the execution wasn't great, but the play itself, though, Corpusero was wide open.
Yeah,
going
the
out
play
into the
was
flat.
blown dead, though, but it looked like he did have some room outside.
Back to punt is Murphy. Murphy gets away a good kick. Hopefully it won't take too big of a bounce for the Shamrocks, but unable to maintain his possession was Fry. Excuse me, it wasn't Fry. I believe it was Isaiah Douglas. And a touchback to end 3rd quarter action. 10 minutes left. Possible overtime? We'll have to wait and see.
North TV Sports, recognized by the Alliance for Community Media as the best sports coverage in the entire northeastern United States.
For the millions living with COPD, breathing becomes a struggle. COPD is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. You may have heard of it as chronic bronchitis or emphysema. Over time, you feel like you're breathing through a straw. It's the 4th leading cause of death in the U.S., and it took my grandmother. If you're over 35 and have ever smoked, you could be at risk. Good news is, you can improve your symptoms. I'm Danica Patrick, and I drive for COPD. Join the movement at driveforcopd.com, take our screening questionnaire today, and talk to your doctor.
Welcome back, everyone. Peter Gay, Josh Perry, Steve Houle, Paul Healy will be providing a sideline report in a couple of minutes. He brought up a very good point here in the booth, gentlemen, and that was Isaiah Douglas, as a sophomore, may not have understood the rule that it's one thing to catch the ball, but you actually have to down the ball or stop. His momentum carrying him into the end zone was the touchback. Or possibly his momentum, he just could not stop from getting into the end zone.
Well, in fairness to Isaiah Douglas, too, we just had a discussion about it up here in the booth as well, so and sort of understand his confusion.
Yeah, he got down the field. He's had an excellent game. So good tackle right there by Zachary Forget.
So a 2nd down and 5 for the Canalmen. May not be the case, but safe to say that this could be one of those games next touchdown wins. Handoff will come near side. It's Jake Ashstetter. Ashstetter close to the 1st down, but will be shy. Let's call it a 3rd down and 2 coming up. I'm surprised that Joe Epps does not get as many carries.
You know, they came over that 3rd possession after the first 2 possessions scoring touchdowns, and they started throwing the ball. And they really haven't gotten back to their main offense. And one of the reasons has been because the defense of Bishop Feehan stepped up, but they just haven't gotten back to really getting Epps the ball. He's only touched the ball not even a handful of times.
This reminds me a couple of years ago, Matt Campbell at Attleboro. Everybody was wondering how he doesn't get 20 carries a game.
Handoff up the middle, Rhodes. Marquise Rhodes has the 1st down up to the 36-yard line.
Now, Marquise Rhodes is only a sophomore. I mean, he's 6 feet, 180, a sophomore. He's a monster in the middle. Going to be reading about him in the years to come.
And they've already got a direct replacement for Epps when he leaves next season.
Wow. We will go down to Paul Healy after this play. He's standing aside Jeff Carr. Pitch will come to Epps. That's what we were talking about. Epps on a play that looked like it was going nowhere, picked up 6 yards. Let's head down to Paul Healy on the field. Paul?
A couple of adjustments Bishop Feehan has made here in the second half. First of all, in offense. They started this game with their offensive line with very tight splits. That didn't work out for them. They've gone back to their normal setup. On defense, the defensive ends have moved out, and the linebackers, Barth and Flett, have really stepped up to stop those sweeps by the Canalmen.
Thank you, sir. Paul Healy reporting from the sideline now that the rain has stopped. Handoff up the middle. On the carry was Ashstetter, He has the first down to the 49-yard line. And it will be up to the Feehan defense here to stop the Canalmen.
Yeah, so momentum in right here. That was Rhodes actually with that. He did a good job of busting through the line of scrimmage. See the line of scrimmage right now being won by the Canalmen.
Yeah, Canalmen not going into a huddle, running a 2-minute type offense. But one thing they're not doing, and you mentioned it, Josh, they're not throwing the football now. Keeping it on the ground. Their entire team within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. There's Epps on the sweep to the far side, has the first down. Oh, he was so close to breaking that one.
Yeah, he's always capable, and you saw him coming up. Just stumbled. It was one of the Shamrocks that knocked him off balance. He's just got great balance right there. I'm not sure that was again. It might have been outside Joe Agnello, outside number 6 with that play. That was a touchdown saving tackle. But great balance by Epps. He's always got his shoulders downfield, running north to south.
First, go ahead, Josh.
Very decisive when he makes his runs. You know, we saw him earlier having the patience decide whether or not to go outside or upfield. But when he makes his decision, he goes.
Handoff will come up the middle. It's Rhodes this time. And one of the things that Bourne does, and Wareham years ago, I remember doing a Dighton-Rehoboth-Wareham game down at Wareham High School. They have their entire team all within about a 6-yard area, and it's deception as to who's got the ball. And we saw the touchdown, I think, was, or one of the plays leading to a touchdown earlier.
Feehan saw that earlier this season against Somerset Berkeley, but obviously far more talent on the field for Bourne than what Somerset had.
Oh, yeah. Looked like one of the linemen came up early. They blow the flag, or blow the whistle, throw the flag. Known in officiating as it's a blow and throw call. I remember that from my days of officiating school, Steve. At the Somerset Lodge, that's where they used to meet in beautiful downtown Somerset.
They still do that?
Well, they still meet on a weekly basis.
Do they?
Yes. Not at the Somerset Lodge. I think that's now a CVS or a Walgreens or Rite Aid, which I'm sure there's all three within 20 yards of each other. Second down and 9 for the Canalmen after the 5-yard penalty. Rolling to his left is Moriarty. Throwing, has a man wide open, and it will result in a first down and goal. Jake Ashstetter. And that time, they certainly used the run to set up the pass.
Yeah, they definitely did that. But one thing they did is they had Epps going right, so it looked like the run was going right with Epps, and they brought Ashstetter underneath, and boy, he was wide open on that drag coming across the field from his wing position. That puts the Canalmen in great field position, first and goal from about the 9-yard line.
Now, if you're a fan, the saving grace is that if you can come up with some big stops, Bourne isn't going to go for a field goal. So someone needs to step up big for the Shamrocks. Handoff up the middle.
The other concern for Feehan right now, too, you got only 5:20 on the clock, too. You got the shorter quarters than what we're used to seeing during the games. Lack of timeouts could come back to haunt them on the defensive side as well, unable to stop the clock and try to save some time for their offense.
So a second down and goal. Rhodes on that last carry. And we talked about the senior leadership on this Feehan team. One of those seniors needs to step up big. Maybe a loss on this play. Handoff. Epps, right side, breaks one tackle, breaks a second, touchdown. Bourne on top, 20-14. Fortunately, plenty of time left, 4:46.
going to see Epps again going in for his third touchdown, coming across the right. And this is what he's done. He gets around that right sideline. This time again, he cuts it inside, scoots into the end zone. Individual efforts, it's a team game, but Epps has made a huge defensive stand, and that's his third touchdown of the game. He'll go along with 1 2-point conversion.
And this is a big 2-point conversion attempt here, too. If Feehan can get the stop, you know that if they score, their extra points are usually good from Allen.
So Bourne with possibly the knockout blow. Moriarty throwing into the end zone. What a catch! Good! Oh, what a play! What a catch by, I believe, Jake Ashstetter. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, Murphy rolling left, throwing off balance. Ashstetter going up, feet in. Only have to get 1 foot in bounds, clearly does. That's just an outstanding pitch and catch. Individual effort again by Ashstetter to come up with that. That's a huge 2-point conversion.
It really is. Moriarty, just a good throw. You know you got a big receiver in the back of the end zone. Throw it up there for him. And you know, on this touchdown, Feehan had that chance. You're saying somebody's got to step up, make the play. They had the opportunities. 3 or 4 of them had a chance to make the tackle. Just Epps, really just too good. Was able to cut in, too strong, right through the arm tackles and into the end zone.
That was interesting. On that 2-point conversion on the replay that we showed. I don't know if we can take a look at it again, but it would have made a great picture for the front page of the Cape Cod Times. The fans in the background, the look on their faces as Bourne gets ready to kick off. Short kick, so Feehan will come up with excellent field position. It's Allen. Allen at the 35. Allen looking to turn the corner, cuts back to the other side. Feehan got away with a block to the back. Allen across the 50. Allen to the 46-yard line. Make it the 45.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Peter. When you go into a run like that takes time and you're trying to set up blocks, some of them could be in the back and it look like the Shamrocks going to get away with one, but they'll fully take advantage of it. They got great field position and plenty of time with 4:33 left here to go in and try to get back into this game.
I'll tell you one thing, guys. If Feehan has 10 offensive plays left, Allen has to touch the ball 6 or 7 times.
Man, he's just been a dynamo tonight.
So 1st down and 10 for the Shamrocks. A slot to each side. Corbacero the lone back. Looked like a broken play. Feehan will toss. Cameron Fry trying to make something out of it. Does. Will pick up 3 yards on the carry. Looked like Murphy was trying to pass to the far side.
It looked like Murphy had a quick, because he had a 2-step drop right there. He wanted to get the ball out. Good news for him, he has Cameron Fry behind and makes something out of nothing.
I'm not sure if that was exactly how they drew it up. It didn't
almost
look very
looked
convincing.
like they wanted a quick little hit to Allen.
Yeah.
Who was lined up in the slot and then have the receiver block for him. We will head down to Paul Healy after this play. He is standing next to Jeff Carr. As a matter of fact, there's a timeout. Perfect time to go down to Paul. Paul?
With 3:42 left, Feehan still has time to run the ball, but if they choose to throw, their most effective receivers this year have been Matt Allen, number 22, out of the wingback position, and number 18, Christian Cook, the wide receiver. Look for them if Murphy's forced to throw.
And I would hope the Shamrocks, should they score a touchdown, already know what 2-point play they're going to call, because should they score a touchdown, and now with only 2 timeouts, I believe, remaining.
One timeout remaining. Coach, you saw Coach Smith as he made the call. He kind of shrugged because he didn't want to use that timeout.
Now, I mentioned the front page of the Cape Cod Times should Bourne go on to win this game. Now, if you freeze it, there's a gentleman right behind the receiver, right there. Keep it going, because it gets better. It comes up a little bit more. Look at the look on the faces behind it there, the people with their arms in the air, celebrating.
North TV banner right in the shot.
That's why I chose it. Allen thrown down. A short pickup on the play, and a 3rd down and 4 coming up for Feehan.
Another good tackle.
Yeah,
it's actually number 34,
right
Jake Ashstetter. And The guy's been everywhere today, and he's sort of a carbon copy of what Epps is like, the two of them from sideline to sideline.
Showing some good sportsmanship after that. After he whips Allen down, he gets up and pats him on the head.
Coming up on 3 minutes left, as Steve mentioned, Feehan with 1 timeout remaining. They have to score on this possession and score a 2-point conversion. Murphy under pressure, throws downfield. The nearest player on the field was a Bourne Canalman. And Feehan fortunate that one wasn't intercepted by Jason Moriarty. The intended receiver was Christian Cook.
Yeah, Murphy took a hit just as he threw the ball. Good spiral downfield, just no one home. Cook couldn't get underneath it.
It seemed like he threw it off the wrong shoulder. Cook came inside. He threw it to the outside. It was good pressure on him again from Jack Schmidt, the captain for Bourne. And actually, he was probably, if it was one more step, it could have possibly been roughing the passer, but.
So 4th down in what could be the season for the Shamrocks. Murphy out of the shotgun. Looking downfield, looking for Allen, under pressure, will be sacked. No one was open. Corbacero, the safety valve on the weak side, was open, but at that point, Murphy was scrambling for his life.
Right there, Gerard coming in from the left side to see him shooting around the offense, and Murphy trying to make something happen, but Gerard just bears down and brings him down for the quarterback sack. No bigger sack of the night for the Canalmen.
Well, Feehan throughout the season gave up only an average of 0.9 points per game. This team was all about defense, and that defense needs to step up big right now.
Coach Smith over on the sidelines talking with Murphy, disappointed because he knows Corbacero open. They had the play. I think what they wanted was Murphy to look to this side as Corbacero came out of the backfield. Murphy didn't see him, and Bourne with the good pressure.
1st down and 10. Rhodes up the middle, lowers his head, gets near midfield. That will be a pickup of 4 yards. So a 2nd down and 6 coming up. And Bourne will milk as much clock as they can. They blow the whistle at 2:34. So let's see how much time Bourne takes off the clock before snapping the football.
2nd and 6 from the 50-yard line.
Now it's getting to that time, too, where you don't want to just have to make a tackle. You got to try to strip the ball loose. You need to come up with a turnover.
Bourne used almost all of the time. Epps breaking a couple of tackles, able to stay in bounds, will pick up 2 yards, and a huge 3rd down and 4 coming up, and Feehan will call timeout with 2:03 remaining, and we will watch the man with the white hat, who will most likely signal 3 times, blowing the whistle. The moon is out, so it can't be that cloudy, right? And the official giving the signal. You saw him in the distance. No timeouts remaining for Bishop Feehan.
Yeah, good use of the timeout, too. Good stops on 1st and 2nd down, quick timeout. Big 3rd down right here, and you get into this situation. If Bourne picks up the 1st down, they're clearly going to go into a victory. If they don't, then maybe Bourne punts it away, because you're going to make Bishop Feehan go the whole length of the field and not just give him 50 yards to go for the 1st down. I'm sorry, for the touchdown.
104. Please be careful leaving the stadium. People will be coming in for the 2nd game, and students are walking.
So Feehan's defense needs to make the stop, force Bourne into a punting situation. Handoff, right side, Epps gets the carry. Epps stopped shy of the 1st down. It will be a 4th down and 1.
I think it was Tom Flett.
Tom Flett on the stop, but a big call coming up for John McIntyre.
I wouldn't be surprised now to see Bourne run the clock down as much as they can, call a timeout to talk things over here, because I think they really need to go for it. I think they believe they can get 1 yard and make the play. But as you mentioned, this is a big decision, because if they do get stopped, Feehan will have decent field position, and they might only have a little over a minute to try to score. But
yeah, they're calling a timeout, and I don't disagree with the timeout, but get the official over there and say how much time is left on the clock, and then use all the clock, and then call the timeout.
Well, I've always said that if I were ever a head coach, one of my assistants, and there are so many assistant coaches standing on the sideline, most of them doing nothing. I would have one right next to me, and I would have, as soon as the official starts the play clock, tell me exactly how much time is left and yell out to my quarterback, snap the ball if you're looking at the clock with so much time left, or tell him go and he snaps within 3 or 4 seconds. Because the college and professional level, they've got it down to a science. They snap the ball with less than a second left.
And they have the option of looking at the clock in the end zone. But to your point, have one of the people on the sideline, use them, basically.
Yeah, use them. Got so many hangers around down there. 4th down, less than a yard for Bourne. Moriarty. Handoff up the middle. Fumble, I believe. Well, either way, they did not make it. Feehan will get the football with 1:20 left. Waiting for the officials to signal first down, so it was Bourne that came up with a big stop on 4th down at the goal line. Feehan now comes up with a big stop at the 45-yard line.
What an outstanding defensive stand for the Shamrocks with one timeout with just over, 2:38 to go or 2:42 to go, I believe it was. For them to be able to get the ball back here is really just incredible. But they're going to get another shot with 1:20 left, try to tie this game up.
Now it's about execution in the passing game. You know Murphy's going to have the ball in his hands. He's got receivers. He's got talent in the skill positions. He's just got to find him.
Murphy, swing pass, batted down. It was intended for Corbacero, but Drew Gerard at 6'3", 220. Murphy is only 6'2", but with Gerard's arms up, there was about 5 inches to throw over there.
Talk about Gronkowski with the Patriots and the catch radius that he has and he possesses. And some of these guys like Calvin Johnson on Detroit, I mean, he's basically a size of a 2-car garage when he spreads his wings out right there. Gerard, a large guy, you see him right there in the picture, able to get his hands up, knock that ball down.
A smart play, too. He knew he wasn't going to get there. He just stops, puts his hands up, tries to block it.
2nd down and 10. Murphy has time, passes, incomplete. In and out of the hands of Michael Agnello. And in a way, Feehan might be fortunate that Agnello dropped that ball because he was only going to pick up 4 yards. He would have been brought down immediately, and Feehan would have probably lost about 20 seconds.
This is interesting for the Shamrocks, too. They haven't been in too many close games, or at least it's been a while since they've been in a close game. And obviously you practice these situations all the time, but haven't really had to execute it so far in real gameplay. Not since the Scituate game.
October 8th against Scituate. Murphy back to pass, throws off of his back foot, intended for Allen. There's the 15-yard penalty. And Allen does a great job here selling the call.
I gotta give credit to Murphy, too. That was a heck of a throw off his back foot. I thought he was just throwing it up for grabs.
He took a shot at the end of that, too.
There's the 15-yard penalty. Now watch Allen. Yeah, he's hit.
That is a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage.
But,
It will be 1st and
I mean, he just, as soon as he was hit, just collapsed to the ground.
He did such a great job. He got himself in between the ball and the defender to make sure that the defender would have to go through him to get there.
The way Allen went down, I thought I was watching soccer. Except he's still not in pain on the middle of the pitch. 1st down and 10 Shamrocks at the 40-yard line. A little more than a minute left. Murphy throwing over the middle. It's caught. 1st down, Michael Agnello down to the 26-yard line. Feehan will line up, no huddle with 58.9 seconds remaining. And he will spike the ball with 55.3 left. This is exciting, guys.
It's very exciting, and I love the fact that the Shamrocks are able to talk about being clutch and having the leadership on the field. You have the center.
of the Shamrocks. Cuddy running up there, getting the ball. You're going to see another look at the catch right here, which is over the middle. When you throw the ball in the middle, you have to be ready to hustle down the field, and that's just what happens. Ball pops up. Good catch by Arinello, but Cuddy's right there. Get the ball down, get it set, spike it, live for another down.
And give Mike Agnello credit, too. He had just dropped that one on the sidelines just 2 plays before that, and, you know, Murphy looks to him again on the next play and comes up and makes the catch in traffic.
As I mentioned, had he caught that ball, there'd probably only be about 35 seconds left now.
Good point.
Maybe he did it on purpose. 2nd down and 10. Murphy under pressure, escapes one tackle, needs to get rid of it, won't. Will be wrestled down at the 29-yard line.
Yeah, you don't want to spike it right here, though. You really need the play here.
Yeah, Kurt Smith yelling, spike the ball, but I don't like that call.
I don't like it because you have 37.5 seconds. I think at that point, if you miss up on 10 seconds, the down is more important than the 10 seconds that's going to run off right there.
And it's not just your offense that's maybe a little out of sync, rushing back to the line of scrimmage. The defense can be a little confused too, not sure what they're doing. You might be able to get Allen down the seam on a play like this rather than trying to spike it.
Yeah, the blitz is on up the middle and nowhere to go. Murphy steps up, but Gerard once again, another big quarterback sack by the senior tri-captain.
Jack Schmidt was the first one through. He broke up the play. 4th down for the Shamrocks. Blitz by the Canalman. Murphy throwing, pass incomplete. Doesn't matter because he's shy of the 1st down, and that will do it. And Feehan needed that down.
They say he was down.
Well, it doesn't matter
either
way.
No, they say it was incomplete, sorry.
Doesn't matter either way. Because he was shy of the 1st down, and Feehan would love to have that play back right now where they spiked the football.
I think it was the wrong call to say it was incomplete, but as you said, Peter, it doesn't matter. He was not a half a yard short of the 1st down. Again, good presence of mind for Murphy to get rid of the ball before taking the sack, because then it definitely would have been over. But
boy, another good look at it. I think he got his hands underneath that and caught the ball.
No, whether he caught it or not,
he was short of the 20.
The only thing it will impact is Murphy's final statistics throwing the ball. .7 seconds left after this play. We'll get our final report from Paul Healy.
Something about Feehan in the playoffs. Seems like every game comes down to the final minute.
So Feehan's 7-game winning streak will come to a close. Bourne now with a 12-game winning streak. Well, I understand we will not be going to Paul Healy. And we will watch time go off the clock. 12 seconds left. The Shamrocks' season comes to a close, but oh, what a season. After starting out at 0-4, Feehan rattled off 7 straight wins to advance to the championship game. Gentlemen, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I think the non-league season and the success they had in conference just puts this Bishop fan in a position to play in a game like this, and they've done outstanding, and they should be very proud of their effort tonight against a very, very good Bourne team.
You know, defensively, they got off to a slow start. They really picked things up. Bourne, I think, proved themselves to be an excellent team, and I think Feehan showed that they're an excellent team as well, and all the question marks that were there, considering how strong the EAC is this season, I don't think any of that matters. Feehan came out here and showed that they're a solid team.
Certainly the case. Congratulations to Kurt Smith and all of the Shamrocks for a great season. Good luck to the Bourne Canalmen in the Super Bowl. The producer and director of North TV Sports, Chris Miller. On replay, Lauren Carpenter. On cameras, Jeff Carr, Michelle Lucier, Peter Merry. For the rest of the crew, Josh Perry, Steve Houle, Paul Healy, I'm Peter Gay. The final, 22-14. The high school football season comes to an end for the Feehan Shamrocks. Good night, everyone.